to start with, we're going to do what's called Circle of Excellence. And Circle of Excellence it's actually the very first technique that I learned in NLP school, and I use it pretty much as any other technique I have. It's just that generally useful. And the idea is this: like, wouldn't you love to be able to access a feeling or a state or kind of any kind of internal resource, like just when you needed it? Like just before, wouldn't you like to have confidence right before you went to talk to your boss? Wouldn't you want to feel calm before you had this big discussion with your partner? Wouldn't you want to, well, for me in particular, when I started out, I was, before I came to NLP, I was really nervous about public speaking, doing this sort of thing. And I did Toastmasters, and I was still, really uptight about it. And so the first thing, when I created my own Circle of Excellence, what I did was I put in, it's been 22 years at this point, I put in self-confidence and enthusiasm. Those are the first two things. And for a long time, when I was about to go train or do some sort of public speaking, I'd be walking up to, if there was a podium, I'd be walking up to a podium, I'd stop and step into my circle, get that state, and then do it. And that's what you saw me do just a minute ago, right? It was just step into that state. So it's really useful. Like, you can imagine how this could come in handy, right? To be able to access a state of calm or enthusiasm or grounded or empathy or really anything. Anything you can feel, you can anchor. Because when we talk about a circle of excellence, we're talking about anchoring a feeling to something else so that you can immediately bring it up for yourself. Immediately access it. So and the circle is because the reason it's called Circle of Excellence is because one reason it's called circle is because we're going to have a circle that you're going to step into. The reason it's called excellence is because they need to pick some description of like some good internal resource. So excellence is also it could have been circle of calm or circle of enthusiasm or circle of self-confidence, but they just wanted one word to kind of sum up these kind of resources that you might want. Okay. Are there any questions so far? Okay. So what I need now is I need a volunteer so I can demonstrate how this works. So somebody who has maybe there's some situation where you'd really like to feel a certain way in that situation. And it's hard for you, it doesn't come naturally, or it's harder than you'd like it to be. So think about that, and you'll all be doing this, right? You'll all be doing this with each other in just a couple of minutes. But it really helps to have somebody up here to demonstrate how it might look. Great, thank you, Carol. Come on up. Okay, so do you have a situation in mind, Carol?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate cocktail parties or anything that's like a cocktail party, like where where it's not structured, where you're just doing this babble back and forth, and it's not necessarily a cocktail party, but that kind of thing. And I hate them because I just don't know how to behave in those situations. I would prefer like something like this. This is structured,
Yeah.
But
so that's unstructured. Yeah, there's unstructured
It's very,
situations.
very difficult for me.
Okay. So what do you think would be a good state for you to be in when you're going into that sort of situation?
Probably not have my mind on me.
Okay. So if you put that in the positive, what would that be?
Have my focus on others.
Okay. All right. So is that kind of an empathy sort of thing, like looking outside yourself?
Yes. Empathy toward others. Yes.
Okay. All right. Great.
And I think I also would need some self-confidence in there too.
Okay. So empathy and self-confidence. Great.
Yes.
Great. Now, it turns out that with the circle, you can actually put as many resources as you want into it. Like you can put in one, and then a few minutes later or a few years later, you can actually put in another one, another one, another one. And I've done that with mine over the years. I've got 10 or 15 things. I can't even tell you what's in there anymore. I just know that when I need it, I step into it, and it's like,
So it's the same circle all the time?
It's the same circle, yeah.
And you use it for different kinds of things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it turns out your body kind of self-selects what it really needs. Like you could put in a whole bunch of different things, but your body will kind of pull the right things out when it needs them.
Ah,
Even if you have 10 things in there, when you go to a cocktail party, it'll pull the 2 or 3 you need.
okay.
All right. So, so here's the thing. Usually we put in these resources one at a time. So we put in empathy and we put in self-confidence. But there's one situation where we don't have to.
Okay.
So, well, actually, let's keep it simple because this is the first time we're doing this. Let's just keep it simple. Let's put in, which one would you like to put in first?
The self-confidence.
Self-confidence. All right, perfect. So the way this starts is, well, first we choose a state. We call these internal resources, but they're feelings or ways of being. And so first you kind of pick what you want,
Right.
and then I want you to notice what color your circle is.
Blue.
Okay, great. And how big is it?
Oh, about maybe 18 inches in diameter.
Cool. And is it uniform blue? Does it have any kind of different colors to it, or
So
different
maybe
intensities?
blue with kind of gold around the edges.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And is it like a dark blue, a robin's egg blue, like
It's kind of a royal blue.
a royal blue? Okay. And is it actually does it have any thickness, or is it completely flat?
I think it's about
As
6
you look at
inches
it.
deep, and it's kind of cushy.
Oh, okay.
Like
Cool.
like maybe yeah, but easy to stand in though. But kind of like a thick
Yeah.
cloud or something.
Okay. All right. Great. And the last question is there any sound that it's making?
No.
Okay. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So one small point here. It's in NLP, right, in the linguistic part. So notice I didn't say, do you see a circle? I said, what color is your circle, right? Because I'm presupposing there's a circle there. And it's just a small language pattern within NLP. So, because I didn't say, if I ask you, is there a circle there? You might go, no. But if I ask you, what color is your circle? You go, oh, there's a circle there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay, so there's your circle. Okay, so now Carol has a circle, so we can just leave it there for the moment. Okay, it's not going anywhere. And now, I want you to think back to a time when you felt really self-confident. I want you to think back to a specific experience when you felt really self-confident. And if you need to close your eyes, that's fine. If you keep them open, that's fine.
I can think of it.
Okay. What I want you to do, I want you to go back to that time and just notice that feeling. So as you kind of relive that experience. Yeah, and really start feeling the self-confidence. Where do you feel it first, most strongly? Kind of your torso. Okay, great. Okay, mostly kind of upper torso. Great. So what I want you to do now, Carol, is I want you to just start breathing, right? Or keep breathing. And every time you breathe, I want you to allow that feeling of self-confidence to expand, right? Expand down into your lower torso and your legs, expand throughout your shoulders and arms and hands, up into your head. Just let it expand through your whole body. And while it's expanding, also let it just intensify, right? This is a really good feeling, right, of self-confidence. So just let it intensify and expand through your whole body. Yeah. And you can just let your body, you know how when somebody's like really mad or really joyful or something, when they're feeling something really intensely, like you can see it in their body. So just let your body get into whatever self-confident pose is. You don't have to think about it. You just let your body, as you're intensifying the self-confidence, just let your body kind of drift into whatever whatever pose it wants to be in. And just keep breathing and keep intensifying. Yeah. How's that going?
Right.
Good. So what I want you to do is when that feeling is all through your body and it's really intense, I want you to take all of that and step into the middle of your circle with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, take a deep breath. And now I want you to allow, you've got so much self-confidence in your body right now, you're going to let it just drift down through your feet and start infusing the circle. To start filling up the circle with self-confidence. Filling up that beautiful royal blue circle. And every time you breathe, just more is going to fill up the circle. And what I want you to do, I want you to stay here until the circle is completely filled up with self-confidence, until it can't hold anymore.
Okay.
Okay? And when it's filled up, then I want you to step out, leaving it full of self-confidence.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So there's a circle full of self-confidence right there.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And notice that you're still feeling self-confident, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not that you left it all there. What it does is actually it triggers, it's an anchor, it triggers self-confidence in you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can have it there and have it here.
Okay.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is, with NLP, when we do things, we usually don't just assume they worked, we test them out. Okay, it's one of the things I like about NLP, because I came to, I was a computer scientist when I started NLP, so I was like, I want proof, I want rigorous processes. And one of the things I like is that, we don't just assume things work, we make sure they do. And if they don't, we do it again or do something different. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to get rid of self-confidence for a minute. So think about something that makes you not self-confident,
Like tripping.
like tripping, or taxes or global warming or something, and okay. Okay, so you're not feeling self-confident so much anymore.
Not particularly.
Okay, great. I mean, not great, but I mean, for the purpose of this, great. Because in just a moment, you will. So what I want you to do now is I just want you to step into your circle and take a deep breath. How does that feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And now, of course, you can step out because what you've done is you've activated self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is like all the self-confidence you could possibly want for going into these cocktail parties or, unstructured conversations, where's self-confidence right now for you?
I'd say maybe a 9.
A 9, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Great.
Yeah.
Because if it was something lower, 7, 8, 9 is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a 5, I'd say, well, let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because anchoring, it's stimulus response, right? So you can strengthen it by redoing it. So, but 9 is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've got self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to try for empathy?
Sure.
Okay. This is the advanced class now, because usually I only teach people one at a time, but it really follows the same process, and it's simpler now because you've already got your circle.
Yes.
So, what I'm going to have you do is imagine a time when you felt real empathy for people, like really you were just right there with them, and wondering what they were thinking, and just reaching out to them and feeling really comfortable. Got it? Okay. Okay, so again, go back to that experience, okay? And put yourself back there and notice where you're feeling that empathy to start with.
Well, it's here, but it's kind of all over.
Okay, so it's already kind of all over.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, in that case, all you need to do is just intensify it a little bit,
Okay.
right? It's already throughout your whole body. So just take a few deep breaths. Yeah, let it intensify. Let your body just get into that, whatever that empathic posture is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when it's really as intense as you think it's going to get, I want you to take all that empathy and bring it into the circle to join with the self-confidence.
So I take a breath and then, or,
Yeah, just step. Yeah, step. Well, just step. You already stepped into your circle.
no, yet. not
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, just step into the circle and just take a deep breath. Yeah. And let that empathy again, flow down out your feet and fill up the circle even more. Right? You thought it was full before, but you realize now there's actually room for empathy.
Mhm.
And it's kind of mingling with the self-confidence. So again, that's going in,
Mhm.
and stay here until it feels like it's as full as it can get.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then step out, leaving the empathy there. Okay. Okay, so let's let it go again.
Oh my.
We'll test it quickly.
I have to get rid of it, huh?
Well, just to be rigorous about this.
Okay.
Yeah, let it go. Imagine you're at a cocktail party without this circle.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So now,
Mhm.
what I want you to do is step into the circle and take a deep breath. And now imagine you're about to enter into a cocktail party. How does that feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Good. So imagine like walking forward, because you're standing in your circle.
Mhm.
You want to be able to move around. So
Mhm.
just to prove to yourself that the circle is not
Mhm.
necessary.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So the circle's on the shoulder?
Oh, thank you. I can't believe I forgot this. Yeah, so Carol, the last thing is this circle, right? It's an imaginary circle and it's yours. So just make sure you take it with you. And you put it up your sleeve, in your back pocket, whatever. There's an old story, the woman who taught this to me told me a story when she taught this to a bunch of executives at IBM at some conference room in New York. And she forgot to tell them to take the circles with them. And she came back the next week and they had duct taped their circles, on the floor. So yeah, so take your circle with you. This is yours and it's portable. Are there any questions? Either for me or for Carol?
So
Yeah.
would you create a different circle of excellence if you have a different issue that comes up later, or would you just add it to the existing?
In almost every case, I would add it to the existing. I mean, the only time when I've actually created a separate circle for somebody is when it's something completely different. Like they've got a circle for public speaking, and they want a circle for falling asleep. Like reducing anxiety and that sort of thing. So when I did that, actually somebody had like a circle that was like bright green, and then they had this like dark purple. But for most of the time, it's about most resources will fit really nicely in one circle. I've got a handout here, so you can follow along the handout, or if you have any questions. But it's really straightforward. I mean, it's about seeing your circle. It's about accessing the resource you wanted, like coming back to when did I feel that? Because 99 times out of 100, you felt that the way you want to feel, you felt that at some point in your life. And so you can go back there and access it. And it's about intensifying, it's about bringing it into the circle, filling up the circle with it, stepping out, and then testing it. So it's really straightforward. Judy.
So I think you said earlier that you could put as many in there as you wanted, and then when you step in a particular situation, your body just accesses from those 15 that you put in there, it accesses the ones it needs for that particular situation?
It seems to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, usually they're somewhat related. I mean, they're self-confidence and enthusiasm, or self-confidence, enthusiasm, and empathy. Those can all go together. And so, yeah, I've just found in different situations, when I step in, I kind of get what I need. And the other thing to note is I tell people to take a deep breath. And the reason I do that is because there's one of the ideas in NLP, and it's not unique to NLP, but one of the ideas is that the mind and the body are the same, one and the same, right? They're not two different systems. They're just interconnected. And so what happens when you take a deep breath is you open up your physiology, right? It's really hard to be resourceful like this. It's much easier. And by taking a deep breath, you open up your physiology. It's like one of the things they taught us working with people who are depressed. If you can just get them to look up, you've actually started to help them. They don't want to look up. They don't want to open up. So take that deep breath. It makes a big difference.
I like to imagine that I'm breathing in the resource with that breath too.
Yeah.
It's a nice, like you're sucking it in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if there are no other questions, let's go do it. Because again, the way to learn something is to do it, is to practice it. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to pick a partner and go to it. You can go anywhere within the offices. There's plenty of room. And let me pass these out. And I'll be wandering around in case there are any questions.
It's awkward. It's awkward. It's not because I don't think it's.
I think that it did really it helped me during the race. For sure.
I'm curious, usually ask the question, how was it? But I'm actually more curious as to how would you use this? Where would you find this useful? Either for yourself or for work or with other people? What situations would this come in handy?
All.
All. Yeah. It's a very general purpose technique. Yeah, Judy.
Well, some of the work that I do is connecting with people on the other side who died, for those on this side. And I have doubt. I always have doubt. And this is going to help.
Doubt in your message.
Doubt in me. That, am I just making this up?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 1%, and sometimes it's more than that.
So how do you, what's the positive of the doubt then? What did you ask for? What did you?
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence.
And could you see helping others with this as well?
Yeah.
Who are on the same, the same journey? Yeah. Cool. Any other ways you can think of, either for yourself or for other people, clients or family or?
I did well-being. That felt really good.
Yeah.
I can still feel it.
Yeah. That's great. A general sense of well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a person could step into their circle as soon as you wake up
Mm-hmm.
and draw whatever to start the day.
Yeah. I do that sometimes.
It's your state.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes, because one of the things I've done is just a little enhancement. I've taken the circle, and you've all seen Star Trek at one time or another. Do you remember the transporter tubes? So I have this idea of instead of stepping on it, it actually goes. And so instead of just stepping on what for me is a green circle, all of a sudden I'm in this green, this green energy, and it's like.
That's what when I was visualizing it, not only this way, but it was all the way up.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. But when it's like that, you can even be lying down and going, okay. I've used it on really hard mountain bike rides, going uphill. I'm like, oh, okay, more energy. And then you just kind of feel it. I felt it, and then I've just gone on. One thing I found really useful in terms of counseling or therapy, a lot of times when you're working with somebody and you've actually got them to a state that's really useful. This is a way of locking it in, or this is a way of giving them access to it after the, kind of after the session. So they don't just have this fleeting feeling of well-being or confidence or whatever. You can actually help them, re-access it very easily. So.
So is this something that you pretty much teach to all of your clients? I mean, it's so general and it seems so valuable that,
I'd say probably half.
okay.
Yeah, maybe a little more than half. I mean, there are some things where it's just the nature of the problem doesn't really lend itself to setting a state. Sometimes I work with people on, there's a lot of what I do is called parts work. And we'll do that, hopefully if we have time, we'll do that right at the end. I'm going to demonstrate core transformation, which is a parts process. Yeah. And so there we're actually trying to work with a part or integrate parts or, come up with new behaviors for parts. So sometimes I don't do I don't anchor state with that, but a lot of other things I do. Just because it's a really nice tool to give people. I don't usually teach them how to do it because we don't usually have enough time. So now you all know how to do it, and you can do it for yourself and teach others.
With that circle, can you put like various health issues into there? Like you can do general well-being, or can you do like, I have a really bad headache today, or my vision's blurry, something like that.
Well, yeah, if you can, if you can figure out what the positive is, then yeah, and also you can put in. It does not just have to be like kind of emotional feelings. It can be physical feelings, like a feeling of well-being, right? Because all you're doing is anchoring a state so you can come back to it. If I want to anchor energy and I'm like, okay, state. The next time I step into my state, I'm going to feel that energy. Sometimes, in some sense, it's actually easier to anchor bodily things because they're right there. They're just right there. So yeah, try it out.
Okay, it wouldn't be a whole separate circle like you were saying, like to go to sleep.
It's kind of a judgment call
Okay.
as to whether you do that or not. If the energy, kind of being energized and going to sleep wouldn't really work well together.
Sure, I see, yeah.
But a lot of things do work well together. So, yeah, I just kind of do it on a case-by-case basis.